Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Bill Maher is out here absolutely destroying woke arguments like it's his full-time job, and his latest target is none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Let's be real for a second. Whoopi's been building up a portfolio of cringe-worthy statements since 2022, so it's no surprise Maher finally snapped. But this wasn't just a simple critique. Maher dismantled her piece by piece in a takedown so savage that Whoopi was left scrambling like a cartoon character dodging anvils. So, what did Goldberg say this time to earn Maher's unfiltered wrath? And how did his savage comeback leave the woke mob absolutely devastated? Well, buckle up, folks. This isn't just a bumpy ride. It's a roller coaster with no seatbelts.
We have got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
Whoopi Goldberg poked the bear, and now she's getting a dose of the brutal truth. Remember when Bill Maher absolutely obliterated Sunny Hostin for trying to put words in his mouth? Well, it turns out the View crew wasn't going to take that loss quietly. This time, Whoopi herself stepped up, apparently on some kind of revenge mission to deliver the pound of flesh the left wanted. Looks like Sunny couldn't handle the heat Maher brought, so she called in the big guns, Whoopi. And Whoopi came in hot, like a reality show contestant no one asked for.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class? I mean...
Classic Whoopi, flipping through the woke playbook like it's her Bible. When your argument is sinking faster than the Titanic, just whip up a straw man and go on the attack. Bill Maher was talking about Black Americans wanting better jobs, a stronger economy, and responsible policing. Simple stuff, right? But here comes Whoopi, rambling about voting for a former prosecutor with plans for the working class. Does that connect? Nope. She's throwing darts blindfolded and hoping something sticks. Spoiler alert, it didn't. And Bill Maher wasn't having it.
Tear down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no, it's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Maher didn't pull any punches. He pointed out that Whoopi's ideas were nonsensical. And let's be honest, The View has become the political talk show equivalent of a train wreck, painful to watch but somehow impossible to look away from. With Sunny and Whoopi taking chaos to new heights, the show's become a circus with questionable commentary on everything from politics to the meaning of life. Remember when Charlemagne the God made a guest appearance on the show? You could practically see him wondering if he'd stepped into an alternate universe.
Criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now.
Now, let's talk backstory. President Joe Biden, the self-proclaimed champion of no one is above the law, just pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, who was found guilty of corruption and other offenses. This, of course, has sparked a firestorm. How do you claim no one is above the law when your own son gets a pass? It's almost like saying justice is blind, unless you're a Biden. Hunter's guilt was as obvious as a toddler caught red-handed with cookie crumbs, but somehow accountability didn't make it onto the family calendar. Enter Charlemagne, who rightly pointed out that if the woke mob claims no one is above the law, then they need to hold their own people accountable. Simple, right? Whoopi didn't think
I'm
so.
gonna stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You
his
really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of
No,
a sudden?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get
Watching
over.
her defend the indefensible is like watching someone argue that the sky isn't blue while standing under a cloudless sky. If logic were an Olympic sport, Whoopi would definitely trip over her own reasoning. Charlemagne was visibly stunned, but Whoopi wasn't done. She claimed Biden might have changed his mind because he was sick and tired of watching everybody get over him. Oh, okay. At this point, Whoopi's mental gymnastics could win her a gold medal, but she's definitely tripping over her own logic.
This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law.
Problem with the woke mob is that they only call out wrongdoing when it's not one of their own. When it's one of their own, the outrage turns into selective amnesia or a whispered defense. Of course, Whoopi and her crew got away with it because Charlemagne was on the show. But when Bill Maher caught wind of their antics, he didn't hold back. He delivered one of the most satisfying verbal eviscerations we've seen in a while.
I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that
You're
go out.
mis-
They're the
don't-
ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen.
They don't have to do
Maher
that.
was on fire. He called out the woke mob for their hypocrisy. Hunter Biden's guilt was undeniable, but because his dad happens to be president, the whole thing gets swept under the rug. If this were anyone else, the mob would be sharpening their pitchforks. But because it's a Biden, it's a different story. Maher called it for what it truly is, a farce. But here's the kicker. Maher pointed out that the woke mob often gets help from the mainstream
You
media.
love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit.
They bent over backwards to downplay the Hunter Biden scandal, shielding President Biden and trying to derail Trump's re-election bid. Key outlets dismissed the story as Russian disinformation, despite mounting evidence. Whoopi eagerly joined in, scoffing at the legitimacy of the allegations on The View. Maher wasn't having it. He called her out for playing defense instead of seeking the truth. He exposed the hypocrisy for the world to see.
Media.
Appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course, you
no,
don't
but
follow
I mean,
this,
saying
you
you
gotta-
know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true.
The ladies of The View, especially Whoopi, aren't just woke. They're like a pack of sharks circling anyone who doesn't align with their ideology. Their debate isn't about truth. It's about silencing dissent and forcing their worldview down everyone's throats. But Bill Maher wasn't afraid to call them out for what they are, bullies disguised as activists.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied.
Maher didn't stop there. He argued that the woke mob needs to stop clutching their pearls over Trump's win and face reality. Trump didn't cheat to win. He won because millions of Americans liked what he was selling. Instead of blaming Russia or racism, maybe it's time to admit that democracy means sometimes the other team scores. It's not a glitch. It's the system working as intended.
Run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Bill Maher didn't just take down Whoopi. He practically built the whole coffin while laughing at the absurdity of it all. Whoopi, the self-appointed high priestess of the woke mob, decided to take a swing at Maher for daring to think for himself. Big mistake. Maher's response? Sharp, unapologetic, and devastatingly funny.
It's a coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him. They certainly are those. And then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-common sense.